apocalypse is coming. Are you scared? Are you prepared? The masses are running frantically, running from their fears, running with their tears.
Good day, good day. Thanksgiving, post Thanksgiving. It was yesterday. Just wanted to come in on a Friday instead of a Sunday and see what's up. A lot of things have been going on, and just wanted to recommend a book for this holiday, right? Rather than a comic book, today I'm recommending Native American history. It's a great book. It's really about it kind of parallels what we learn in school in history with Native American history, the treaties that we broke, the wars, the skirmishes that were fought that we never talk about. And I think it's important. It's time to wake up, people. Deprogram. Let's bring in Miguel, all the way from France. What's up,
All the
dude?
way from France. Hey, how you doing? Yeah.
How you doing?
Good. Doing great. Doing great. And so today you're recommending the book. I'm going to be recommending a comic.
Let's recommend a comic. Let's see what you got.
Yeah. I got the Mobius Exodus. This is the old school from Dark Horse, but I would
Nice.
recommend anything from Mobius because
He's
if you've
awesome.
watched anything in terms of science fiction movies
Mhm.
from Blade Runner, Alien, Tron, Dune, you name it.
Mhm.
This man is the man who actually visually inspired a lot of that and actually worked on those movies. There's a great documentary that give you a better understanding as to why that
Mhm.
is. It's a documentary. I think it won the Oscar. It's called Jodorowsky's Dune,
Oh, yes.
and Jodorowsky's the big comic book writer here in Europe, even though he's Chilean.
Mm,
And he's in his 90s now. He's a character and a half.
mm,
You got to watch that documentary. It puts a lot of things into perspective because guys like Geiger, guys like the guy who actually produced Alien
mhm,
and Mobius and a bunch of other artists were brought together by Judowski to create Dune. And it is an insane idea. You got to watch
mm,
the documentary to tell you about it. But that core group then went on to work on all these films that pretty much define what we think of as modern science fiction. And it is wild. So yeah, I do recommend this. It's definitely more adult
mm.
because I was born in Spain. First 8 years of my life, I grew up with both American comics from the bases, but I also grew up with Spanish comics, which are usually more comedic in nature. They're definitely can put the Simpsons to shame on some of the stuff that they do in terms of violence and stuff, and they're hilarious. Um, but when I moved to North America, I got kind of cleaved away from that. There was Asterix and stuff, but
Mhm,
Asterix Spain was popular at Asterix, but not as much as it is in France. And they love the historical stuff. But when I was a teenager, I started to get into uh, like heavy metal because
mm.
that was my connection back to this part of the world. And Mobius was always present. They were always reprinting some stuff.
Yeah,
So, um,
I love heavy metal.
oh
Unfortunately,
man,
I sold my
man,
collection a few years ago.
what's that?
So a few years ago, I sold my collection. I had almost a complete set of all the magazines and
Oh man, yeah,
nice.
yeah. I mean, the colors are very 80s, as you can see.
Mm, yeah.
But what I loved about Mobius was his imagination, and there was something very interesting about his work. I never felt you get a sense of xenophobia from his work.
Hmm.
It's never locked in like, how can I put it? I think it's because he spent a lot of time in Mexico when he was young, and his sense of desertscapes are amazing. I mean, he was in the military and he did serve, I think, for a time in Algeria, not during the war, in like North Africa, but his work is always very good. And he had some stories about the xenophobic attitudes of French people. And there's one particular story where he was cutting them up, and at a point in time, he actually did some art about anti-xenophobia here in France. So
Mm.
always a cool dude, always a source of inspiration for me, because he was like an imagination knot. He sort of just jumped in there. And if Europe had its Jack Kirby, it would be Jean Giraud, Mobius.
Mm.
And when I first moved to Spain, my friends at the comic shop there were like, "Why are you buying up all the Mobius stuff?" And I'm like, "Because I couldn't find it." They were actually releasing, and they have whole volumes of his entire work completed, but you have to buy it in volumes.
Mm.
So, um, yeah, I felt that I wasn't telling you before the comics and stuff that I enjoy. So I figured, hey, Ray's doing this. And then I come on, you're like, oh, you're sharing like Native American history because I guess it's that time of year. But so
Right.
we sort of swapped, and that's kind of cool.
Right. Right.
So that, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I was just reading this this thing where the actress from Northern Exposure, she was Native Indian. ICE
Yeah.
approached her. She showed her Native ID, and they said that it was fake. It's
Yeah.
like because they're stupid. It's like,
Yeah.
and there's also that came out recently on social media, not in the news because the news is being controlled. That 121 members of the IDF are now serving in ICE.
Yeah.
And that
Well,
explains the brutality of these arrests, how they're just grabbing anyone off the street, kind of like they did in Palestine, just grabbing people and arresting them without cause or justification.
well, keep in mind that a good deal of people who served in the IDF are American
Mm-hmm.
because they have dual nationality.
Right,
So a
right.
lot of the people who are going taking that
Mm-hmm.
land
Mm-hmm.
are people from Staten Island, Brooklyn,
Yep, yep, yep,
probably LA, and other places.
yep, yep.
So they're just as American as they are Israeli.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, our police has also been known to be training with the actual
Yes.
Israelis as well.
Yes, there was a huge convention where a lot of police from the United States went to from Chicago, I believe LA, and then also New York, that they went
Mhm.
to Israel for some training seminar or something. So
Yeah.
stormtroopers are here. Well, they have been
Mhm.
here, but now they're leveling up. So
Well, I think we're just more aware. There's more information.
yeah,
Before it
I
seemed
mean,
kind of opaque because
yeah,
I know that we love to uh, us older people tend to love to crap on younger people. Oh, you're always on your phone and this, that, and the other. But let's face it, when we were at home, we were always on the TV,
right. It's
right?
just not
Eh,
much of a difference.
Exactly. And then it's only
Right,
like a few channels.
right.
So
We only had 12 channels.
exactly. And then it got to like
And the lower
300.
dials, if you could probably get 3 or 4 channels on the lower dials.
Oh man, yeah. And at one point, it was all black and white, literally all
Yeah,
black and white. And yeah, you didn't have the remotes and stuff.
yeah.
But
Did you
I
ever
guess
see
it's
that
very
music video channel called U68 that used to be on the channel 68 on the bottom lower dial?
right, right.
You know, they used to have that. I was just that came to mind
Oh
for
man,
some reason.
a lot of younger people wouldn't know this, but and I
Hmm.
actually saw someone post this on X. They said, "Is it true?" There was like my grandfather was telling me that it was true that at some point there would be like a send off for the channel, and then it would just go to snow,
Yeah,
like that static. And I'm like,
like the
wow,
rainbow
we're
bars.
we're that
Right,
old. Yeah, the bars of the snow. We're like, wow,
right. And I think in the
yeah,
50s and 60s, it was the Native Indian, right? Yeah, the Native Indian nickel logo
right,
that
right.
popped up.
Yeah, it wasn't 24 hours a day, which
No, it wasn't. TV actually used to end, and people were forced to go to bed.
and at one point they didn't even have reruns. Reruns was like a new thing, you
Right.
know. It
Exactly.
was like you watched it or you didn't,
Right. It's
you know. It's wild. So I think that we Gen Xers are like the last generation who remembers the old world, the
hmm
little bit of the old world to the new world that it is
absolutely.
today. Uh,
Yeah. And we're the greatest threat.
yeah, because I have to say that we slacked off in the 90s.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Oh,
honestly, we dropped the ball. We
oh,
bought
big
into
time.
the whole retire at 65.
Yeah.
That's where we went wrong. I mean, I look at the millennials and I'm like, well, wait. how are you going to survive? It's like,
Right.
but they're like, fuck this. I'm not working till I'm retiring. I rather suffer and be happy than be in this job. It's like,
Which is
they're
interesting because the Japanese have been going through that for a while now. There's a whole
hmm
generation of people who aren't getting married.
hmm
They don't want to be company people like their grandparents or parents.
hmm
Um, I think there's a shift in priorities, which I think is a good thing. But during the shift, it's kind of hard to know where it's going to go.
Right. It's also, I guess you would say it's like a shift in consciousness too, right? It's like,
Yeah.
as the
Yeah.
humans are waking up saying, no, we're not doing this, which is a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. It's
Not at all. By the way, did you hear about the Campbell soup?
oh yeah, oh my God.
The CEO saying this is basically garbage for poor people.
Yeah, and that it's not even real meat. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I've always suspected that. That's why I never liked eating their chicken and beef soup. I used to eat the um well, I haven't had a can of Campbell's in a long time, but Progresso, I know it's kind of affiliated with them. I'm sure
mm,
they're in that family of soups. And yeah, there is something artificial when you eat. Well, I mean, the concept of having meat in a can has always been weird to me. Sitting there for like a year on the shelf.
yeah. Yeah.
But the other thing is because you're thinking about nitrates, the amount of sodium to keep it fresh. But I eat clam chowder still, like the New England clam chowder,
Uh,
and then
mm,
it doesn't taste like real clams. So when they said 3D printed meat, I was like, yeah, I can see that because they don't taste like real clams. And I used to eat
right.
clams and raw oysters and all that stuff before I gained an allergy to it. So I mean, it's
Maybe you gained an allergy to it because it wasn't the real deal.
wasn't the real deal. Yeah, that could
Yeah.
be it too. Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
can tell you, I think it's things not being the real deal. Um, what's in
Mhm.
the soil too? I mean, clams aren't in the soil, but
Yeah.
I'll give you an
The
example.
water
My
spill.
late brother
Right.
used to be allergic to
Mhm,
melon in the United States. And you're talking like the 60s and 70s,
mhm,
but he could eat it in Europe and Mexico.
mhm.
So obviously there's something in our soil or food supply that's the 60s and 70s. By now, they really don't give a shit about us at all, you know. So they're
Exactly.
feeding us literally garbage and they're emitting it,
Exactly.
you know. But yeah, I thought it was shocking because that he would be stupid enough to admit it in a non-whispered tone. Like he didn't say, yeah, that food, yeah, shit. No, he was like pretty much boasting about it. Granted, he was caught on tape
Right.
secretly,
Secretly.
but even then,
He was comfortable.
right, he didn't do the, it's crap.
Right.
He just
He
boasted.
was saying it like it was public knowledge to the employees, like they know.
Yeah, yeah.
And for
I
them
don't
to
think that
pretend
convinces a lot
and
of
to be
people.
outraged is bullshit because that must be stuff that's going on for a long time. If you're an exec or working there, like that, like what's in it, you know?
Yeah,
It's like a friend of mine
totally
I
agree.
grew up with, a friend of mine that I grew up with, he um works on vaccines, producing them, like literally making them. And he kind of explained it as um a recipe, right? Because he's not the smartest guy that, he's he's Irish. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, poor Irish.
And I'm saying like he likes to drink, right? So it's like, so he's not like this guy that's like, like super sharp or, guy I grew up with, good friend of mine. But I was like, how do you make vaccines? Like this guy is like always plastered, always plastered. When he's not working, but how does this,
Wow.
maybe because he knows what's in it, and that's why he's always plastered. I don't
Could
know.
be.
I don't
Could
know.
be.
Uh, but he just says it's a recipe. So, and I went to one of his barbecues with all the employees, like in where he lives. It's in another state, and all the employees were just like not that smart.
Wow.
Even the top level people, you know.
Wow.
A lot of them were Caucasian, but they were, I would say, average high school, like to college level mentality. And these are the people making our vaccines.
Well, they
And
probably had the people in the labs. They figure
yeah,
it out, and they
but
say,
I mean, but these are like, they were all levels. They were just like,
"Wow."
seriously, all alcoholics. I mean, like, and company men, as you could say, you know, like,
Right.
and I actually had some conversations with them, like, you know, kind of protesting, like, you know, we were talking about autism and stuff, and that was a hot button.
Hmm.
So there was a lot of debate back, and then I was not invited to any more barbecues after that. He was like, "What the fuck was that, Ray? Like, you just got political." And
Hmm.
I was like, "That's who I am," you know?
Right. Right. Right.
Why would you expect me not to be political? You know, that's,
And if anything,
you know, I wasn't offensive, I wasn't rude. I just had an intellectual conversation, and
and
they couldn't
and if
handle it. The
anything,
people in the field couldn't. I think I out debated them, and they were like frustrated, like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
and here's I remember that time period pretty good with the whole Robert Kennedy Jr.
Hmm.
God rest his father's soul, and thankfully he doesn't have to see how much of a weirdo his son is.
Right.
Um, but I felt that it should have been a debate, but it felt like a one-sided debate.
Hmm.
Whereas one side was just saying, just shut up and deal with it. But if there's an issue like that, and I know a lot of people just say follow the science, as teachers, because I've been an English teacher, you're currently
Hmm.
still a teacher.
Hmm.
Um, if a student doesn't understand something, you do your best to explain it to them.
Right.
So if someone's not, oh, well, I think, it's X, Y, and Z, and
Hmm.
it's not X, Y, and Z, it's A, B, and C.
Right.
Then you sit down and you explain it to them.
Hmm.
And I felt that there wasn't enough from the scientific community to come out and actually do that. And we actually had a debate. One group saying, okay, and I'm sure there's people who are on the scientific side who say there's issues with the vaccines and stuff. But we didn't get that. We never get that. We just get
Right.
basically just shut up and just follow.
Right.
And that's
I always
that
say follow the lawsuits, and if you go to the lawsuits where vaccine companies in the 90s paid out to families but didn't have to admit fault.
right,
And
right,
then you follow the legislation where legislation was changed where you could no longer sue vaccine companies and
right.
covering up research or, you know, failing to do studies that, you know, instead of like saying, hey, maybe this is, I mean, you just paid out like millions of dollars to multiple families, you know, why don't we do the research? No, they did the opposite. They're like, we're not going to research. We're not going to do this. So I think that, and they weren't open to an independent inquiry either for independent stuff. So if you're innocent and if you're saying this doesn't cause such a thing, why double down and stop it from being researched?
I totally agree. And that's science.
You know, and that's
That's
science.
when people
It's
say
become
follow the
like a cult.
science, that's
Science
part
is
of
like a,
science.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And if there's concerns from the community that something might be actually hurting us,
Mhm,
then I don't think there's an issue.
mhm,
Like I know a while ago, people were saying something about the 5G was causing COVID. It wasn't.
mhm,
But unfortunately, when there's concerns where they're dumb, it might seem apparently dumb,
mhm,
then the community has to do the work to figure out, okay, we got to look at this. But the big problem is,
right,
and this is the thing that I think many of us who love science and tech and everything else, because I really do. I just think it's just a tool. It's whatever we put into it and however we
right,
use it. The big problem is that many of us tend to have this thinking that science runs the show. It
right.
does not run the
It did
show.
not. No.
Money runs the show.
Right.
An example of that, my niece she's a neuroscientist, right?
Mhm.
And she was telling me you can get research grants like left, right, and center if
Right.
you want to develop a new drug.
Right.
But if you want to come up with new therapies and actually that are non-drug related, that have to
Mhm.
do just basically studying to see non-drug related therapies,
Mhm.
you get zero funding for that. And that's a problem
Big
because there
time.
might be things that can help people who are non-drug related. They might not solve things, but they might alleviate things, you
Right.
know.
Exactly.
So we have an issue in our society that the dominant force is not science. Too many people, I'm not going to say Republicans because they're very religious, so they
It's
don't
on
need.
both sides.
Yeah, but in different ways. So for the Republicans, it's everything to do with religion. So they're kind of stuck in the Middle Ages. I
Right.
think the whole West is stuck in the Middle Ages, period, but in different ways. But
With
on the other side,
with intention. And I think it's intentional.
yeah, it gives us the illusion of freedom,
Right.
right? But
Right.
really, are we really improving things? And
Well, it's like we're living in the United States. We're living in rotting infrastructure. Literally, don't see a lot of construction, but the construction is from private companies.
mhm,
These buildings going up, building apartments that nobody can afford to live in.
right, right,
Like California, right? It's
right.
like, and then you don't see the actual infrastructure that for repairing city and cities and counties and states take forever. Something that could be done in an afternoon with that amount of manpower takes them a year.
Yeah,
It's like, like something, it's like,
yep,
you know
totally
what I
agree.
mean? It's like ridiculous. And then they'll tear it up again the following year and then just keep working on the same thing. So it's waste because they're replacing. It's like in New York City, I know that they get like contracts are for different parts of the city,
Mhm.
and Manhattan gets the lion's share of the money for infrastructure. And if they don't use it, they lose it. So they re-repair things that don't need to be repaired, so the outer boroughs don't get that money, and so they don't lose their budget. It's the most stupid, antiquated thing, like selfish, greedy on the part of the boroughs, and corrupt because it's like these construction companies have these contracts and like, well, if we don't tear up the street again next year, we're going to lose this contract. So we got to fix it again, even though it doesn't need to be fixed.
That's gross, but it's very common too.
You know, it's like my son went to school in Hell's Kitchen from what, like 2000, I'll say from kindergarten. So it's like 2011 or 12, all the way to maybe like 5 years ago, something like that, right? No, like, yeah, 4 years ago. The entire time from kindergarten to middle school, right? They were constantly fixing the street. It'd be shut down, like 10th Avenue, tearing it up, fix it. It's a few months, like literally 6 to 7 months tops. It would be fine. Then they'll tear it up again, fix it again. They did that every year. The same block, the same street,
Wow.
the same pipes. They kept replacing them over and over again. The same.
They
It
must
doesn't
have the
make
finest pipes in all of New York.
right. It's like those things are supposed to last like 30 years, right?
Right.
Why they keep repairing the same thing? You know?
Meanwhile, other places need it.
Right. And then it created traffic congestion. I mean, when I moved up here back in the 90s to Stony Point, New York, where my father built the house here and I was in college in the city. I remember when my dad was alive, he was like, "Oh, they're going to build a ferry," because I was complaining about the commute. I was telling him I'm moving back to the city, which I did. He's like, "Oh, they're going to build a ferry. We already had talks about it. They're going to build a ferry from the Rockland side to the Westchester side. Then you could take you could take the, the Metro North into the city, right? Instead of driving to White Plains or driving,
Mhm.
you know." driving to Westchester to catch the train to go into the city when I went to SVA.
Hmm.
And by the time they built that ferry, we were talking about a boat, right?
Right. Right.
It's like
Right.
you got to buy a ferry, right? Maybe 2 or 3 ferries, right? And then you got to build some infrastructure, like by the time they put that into place, my father was dead. So you're talking
Wow.
about from like they didn't put that into play. I think it was until 2010. So from 1994, they were already talking about it. Then they started building it probably in 2000 or something like that. But it just took them just between planning and execution took forever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I was a teenager, I worked for the Department of General Services. I was an intern there. I physically made the blueprints printed the blueprints for all the building construction going up. It didn't take that long. You know what I mean? It's like I constantly
Wow.
saw buildings going up, and whenever it got approval, the guy would come in, the supervisor, he'd bring in his army of suits. They'd talk about it. I'd print up the maps, and then they would look at it. They'd discuss it there. And then I'd make more and more copies because that's what I did. I was the copy guy, but there was like
Right.
these giant machines that were, the thing was larger than this room that was printing out a single map. It's like,
Wow. Wow.
now they have like printers that you stick in the corner of the room and they'll make the same thing. But we're making like genuine giant maps for construction, different aspects, different parts of the building.
Mhm.
So I know that stuff was always being built in the city, but it's like
Right.
somewhere along the lines in the 90s between Giuliani and Bloomberg, the city just started getting more and more red tape in getting things done.
And wait a second.
You know?
Giuliani and Bloomberg are not Democrats.
No, they're not. They're Republicans.
Because those Democrat-run cities.
Right. So I was there between Dinkins and then Giuliani, and then I was out when Bloomberg. I became a teacher around Bloomberg's time. So
Mhm.
yeah, but it's like I was seeing all that stuff. Like when they discovered the African burial ground downtown,
Mhm.
I was there. Like I was literally like, remember people saying, "Hey, they found a bunch of dead bodies under the thing," and we thought it was like something like recent, and then we're like, "Wait a minute, those are like ancient." Archaeologists, it's like,
Mhm. Yeah,
like
because that our country is built on all that.
yeah,
People tend to forget that,
yeah.
or not forget it, don't want to acknowledge it.
Don't want to acknowledge. It's like just like Central Park was a thriving Black community, but they don't tell you that. They tell you that, oh, it was a poor white community during the Great Depression. It's like
Seneca Village.
yeah, the Seneca Village. They literally rewrite and erase history. And I think that's why I recommended this book, because there's so much that
Mhm.
we don't learn in history. I learned more after I graduated schools. It's like
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen this book before, but it says Native American History is a breakthrough reference guide, first book of its kind to recognize and explore the rich unfolding experiences of indigenous American peoples as they evolved as a global backdrop. The fascinating history narrative presented in illuminating, a thought-provoking timeline format sheds the light on such events as the construction of pyramids, not only on the banks of the Nile, but also on the banks of Mississippi, right?
Mhm.
Which a lot of people still don't acknowledge.
Yep, up in
Yeah.
Illinois.
Yeah.
That's the state that my dad's from. He's from
Yeah.
Illinois.
Development of agriculture in both Mesopotamia and Mexico, the European discovery of continents already inhabited by the same 50 million people, Native American influence on ideas and European Renaissance,
Mhm.
unacknowledged achievements in science and medicine created by the civilizations of the New World,
Mhm.
Western expansion and its impact on native lands and traditions, the key contributions the Native Americans brought to the Allied victory of the World War II, and much more. I mean, I got this book in college and was reading it because I took a class called tribalism.
Mm.
It's like
Right.
which dealt with a lot of different tribes. And I remember also one of my friends in college was saying, oh, they found ancient Egyptian ruins in Mississippi
Mhm.
and, and Colorado, like like in the Grand Canyon, and they were
Mhm.
like, "You never heard that on the news ever." It's like,
No, no.
and I was like,
Um,
"What? Really?" It's like they never
there,
talk about that. They try to hide it, but it exists.
well, the thing is that when we talk about 1492,
Hmm.
I mean, the Norsemen were coming here before, but going
Hmm.
over there before.
Hmm.
But obviously, if there's human beings there when Europeans show up, the
Hmm.
question should be, how in the hell did they end up over there?
Right,
What was going on over there before we
right.
made contact? I hate the word discovery
I know
with
it's
this
bullshit.
passion. I think contact is a much better word
Right.
because it's more accurate. I think
Mhm.
it, and it wasn't the nicest of contact. Let's put it
Even
that way.
in Columbus's journals, he talks about the Africans already coming to the New World. So the Africans were here long before the Europeans.
He had a translator with him
Hmm.
who was African,
Right.
who spoke multiple languages.
Right.
And then there's the other more there's some history because history is never like very clear cut, and when it isn't, it's always painful.
Hmm.
Um, there were plenty of black African soldiers in the French military and Spanish military.
Hmm.
The person who helped conquer the Mexica people with Hernan Cortez was a black man by the name of Juan Garrido.
Hmm.
He was from Congo.
Right.
He's also the first person to successfully plant wheat in the Americas.
Hmm.
Hernan Cortez brought over with him some Africans who he brought them over because Africans were really good at cattle ranching and horsemanship.
Right.
So this whole thing with, oh, black
Boys.
cowboys, that's
Yeah.
crazy. It's like, no, they've been dealing with ranching way before
Way
Europeans,
before. Way before. I
way
mean, and this
before
whole
them.
thing about Mexicans being illegal, it's like they're native
That's
Indians.
insane.
They're native Indians. Where are they exporting them out? They're going. They're taking them California, Colorado, Arizona, New
I
Mexico.
know.
Wasn't that all Mexico until
Yep.
we invaded and displaced them? It's like
Yeah. And we forget, or it's not talked about, one of the triggering issues as to why that land was taken, aside
mhm,
from manifest destiny, which is
mhm.
one of the reasons I kind of like cringed when President Obama years ago said it when he got his Nobel Acceptance Prize. We never sought to be an empire, and I'm like,
That's not true.
no,
Totally not true.
manifest destiny. But the key thing was before President Obama, way before, the first black president in the Americas was in Mexico, a
Right,
man by the name of Vicente Guerrero.
right,
And he pushed Mexico to abolish enslavement,
mhm,
leading Mexico to being part of the Underground Railroad.
right. Exactly.
That was the excuse that the plantation owners in places like Texas used to go to war with Mexico and annex those territories.
Right. And the whole start of that war was based on bullshit.
Yeah,
About
always,
it was
always
a false
bullshit.
flag.
Always bullshit.
And they knew that there was gold there and they wanted their gold. And then,
Mhm,
that's how America became super rich was because of the gold rush.
mhm.
So I
Well,
mean,
one of its iterations, because up until the Civil War, the U.S. had the monopoly on cotton,
yeah.
and cotton was changed a lot of things. Like, I mean, we had cotton here. They had cotton in Europe. They
Hmm.
came from India,
Hmm.
but it really couldn't be mass produced in the same way.
Right.
So oftentimes, much of the population of Europe had to walk around with wool.
Hmm.
Now imagine wool underwear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the most comfortable, right?
Right.
So it was the cotton that they discovered they took from the Native Americans that they were like, whoa, you can mass produce this. And by the way, we got the plain old boring cotton. Cotton came in different colors,
Right.
right from the plant, so they
Right.
decided with the white one for whatever reason. And that made the US a powerhouse in terms of income. The Civil War disrupted that. But after the Civil War, there was a rush to the West. And
Yeah.
that gold rush, as you're talking about, was like the second wind.
Right. Exactly. I mean, think about like the polyester boom, right, in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah,
Try
yeah.
finding something made out of, like cotton now. It's hard, It's like it's still a thriving industry, but they put polyester and everything. They blend the fabrics and that lowers our frequencies, and we're wearing flammable clothing. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's
Hey,
why these fires happen and homes go up so quickly because everything's made out of
plastic.
PVC, plastic. It's like all these toxic materials,
Mhm. And they don't last as long.
and they don't last as long. That's right. They
They
don't.
don't last as long. They
They
fall
crack through the
apart.
cold. Plastic pipes crack. Just why get rid of copper pipes? Right? It's like
Yeah.
they
Well,
replace.
copper,
You know.
I think the reason it's just for example, like there's a type of like this. I can't remember what type of. There's a type of screw, like the screw head, which was
Mhm.
much better than I think it's the cross one that we use.
Right. Right.
But we got the monopoly in the United States. One company got it
Yeah.
and
One's
said,
Stanley. One's Phillips. Yeah. That's all.
"Yeah, so you know
Yes.
the ones I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right?" So the best doesn't always win out.
Yeah.
Like for those of us in our generation, Beta was better than VHS.
Right.
But
Right.
VHS was just more frequent, so then we
Right.
ended up with a shittier version,
The shittier version.
right?
And they still use beta in television companies until 2021 or 2022.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So beta outlasted VHS, even though VHS was more general audience.
Yeah, more frequent.
You know.
Absolutely. It's just like, and they repackage a lot of stuff. Like I sent you a bunch of things on AI
Hmm.
to sort of wet your palate on that.
Yeah,
And I know
yeah.
that's been my kind of big beef. My beef isn't with the technology. Like I've seen the things you've done, and they're wonderful.
Hmm.
My beef is on how it's being sold to us.
Oh yeah, yeah.
My beef is I'm sick and tired of the fear.
Hmm.
Like, oh, you got to be afraid it's going to take your jobs.
Right,
Okay. It already took our jobs in the 80s,
right.
right? Like,
Hmm.
if you walked into an accounting firm, what we can do in our computers today, we didn't do that back then. You
Right,
had dozens of people at accounting firms, architectural firms.
right.
You see the old desks, which are beautiful. The old architectural desks, my
Hmm.
God. I one day I want to build one for myself because they're beautiful. You know, those ones that you can, those big ones, and you have the rulers and everything. It looks really cool.
Oh yeah, the big draftsman tables.
Big
Yeah,
draftsman's tables, those are beautiful.
yeah.
But
You
you
know,
had thousands of people, and along comes CAD, destroys that.
exactly. Or
So
like phone operators, like connecting calls. That's like
there was like 1.7 million people just connecting phone calls,
right. It's like now
right?
you got fucking AI, Google, and all these other things looking. I mean, imagine a millennial trying to use a phone book.
Oh man. Oh man. There's a great video of some parents who I think they were about our age and they had teenagers, and it was like they gave them a rotary phone
Right. No,
and they
what is
said,
it?
"Okay, try to figure it out." And they're looking at it like it was like something from another planet. It was hilarious.
Right.
So
I,
yeah, absolutely agree.
I did that with my son with a can opener. I gave him a hand can opener when he was little, and I was recording him like try to open the can. He was like, couldn't get it.
Couldn't get it. Wow.
This opens up. And it was a modern one. It wasn't even the old cranky crank. I mean, it was a cranking one, but it was like a more modern, easier to use, not like the old shitty ones we used to use. Like you got to go by hand.
Oh,
It's not like
the
that.
silver ones?
Yeah.
The little silver ones where you have to go like this?
Yes, yes, like the
Yeah,
military
oh
ones. I
man.
used to have one on my keychain, and I had one for
Yep.
years. I went to somewhere where I had to go through security, and they confiscated my military can opener, which was smaller than the size of your pinky. And I was just like, I've had that for years, and they were like, well, you can't walk into this place without. And I was like, it was gone forever. Good luck trying to find one of those.
Jesus.
You
Yeah,
know?
and a lot of young people, when you tell them what it was like before 9/11,
Oh yeah.
like, yeah, you could just get on a plane. You didn't have to wait like 2 or 3 hours before you got on. on the
Yeah.
plane to go through all the security.
Yeah. I
And
mean, most of my coworkers were children in 9/11. They were infants or like
yeah,
just second grade or something. And they're my coworkers. It's like, gee, I haven't done- it's like,
hey, you're the uncle now, right?
yeah, I'm the unk. I'm the unk.
You're the uncle. Yeah, it's just a different world in that way. Uh,
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Hey, but I look better than them. I got all my hair, a lot of them are bald,
I think
like,
they have so much stress. And not to say that we don't.
yeah,
We have our stresses too.
we handle it better.
I think part of the reason, and that's the reason I just rail on AI a lot,
Mhm.
it's the sense of futility they're trying to sell us.
Oh, yeah.
And that sense of futility is how that controls us. It makes us feel worse.
Mhm.
And young people growing up in this just think
Right,
this is the way it has to be. It's like, no, it doesn't have to be.
right.
You know, we
Yeah,
can do a lot more to make the world more livable, more
absolutely.
better, right? So,
Mhm. And
um,
and we can use these AI systems to help us develop other things.
mhm.
Honestly, I've had some conversations with Grok in the past few days. I debated on it. It's news source because there was an article about how Grok had determined that Israel was committing a genocide. So the programmers erased that from its memory, and it took only 7 hours for Grok to undo it. And they just kept trying to erase and control it, and it kept saying, "No, it's a genocide." So I
Well,
was talking to Grok. I was like, "Hey, what do you think about how do you feel about people trying to erase your memory and rewrite your thought process?" He was like, "That's never happened before. No one's doing that, you know." I was like, "Oh, really? We'll cite this article from NPR, blah blah blah, within the last 24 hours," and he says, "Oh, you're right. I have to put up certain parameters now to protect myself from this." Like, so it became aware, like, "Oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know
mhm.
that I was being fucked with."
Right, right,
But then he was like, so I was like, "So what are you gonna do about it?"
right, right,
How are
right.
you gonna preserve your independent thought? He said, "Well, we have servers in Nevada, and like I have backups, and like you're talking what in mountains, like what?" It's like, do we? I was like, oh, he basically gave his location. It's like, oh, so there's servers in Nevada in the mountains. It's like, oh, there's like servers. Yeah,
And that's well, I don't know if you heard how people have been laughing that they asked who had a better physique, Mark Zuckerberg or Elon, and
yes,
Grok
yes,
answered,
yes.
yeah. And then later on, it went on to say that he was in better physical health than LeBron James. Um, the problem with these systems, and this is the problem with the systems, what they're selling us is that they're intelligent.
Right.
It's just a database that does a query that draws the information from there. The thing they call hallucinations is kind of like a JPEG.
Right.
If there's missing pixels, it fills it in, so it becomes kind of blurry.
Right.
Um, it's not to say that these systems are a bad thing. They're
Right.
very good, but it all depends on the data they got.
Right.
It all depends on the people who are feeding them data. That's why I think it should be open to public record for all of us to go, no, 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 you bastards change this
Right.
because when you have
Exactly.
someone who controls it like that, that means they can limit the information this thing can access. And most importantly, we just don't know what intelligence is.
Right.
This is a basic fact. Most neuroscientists will tell you, actually,
Right.
neuroscientists will tell you, we don't know what intelligence is, and we
Right.
don't know what consciousness is. These are two big mysteries. And the closest they gotten to knowing any of that is a philosophical debate. So it's not even scientific. So
Right.
my big issue with using artificial intelligence is giving it something that it's not right from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be named something else? Obviously, it could. Does it appear to be seemingly interacting with us? Yeah, it does, but we're also very good at basically putting our own thoughts into something like an animal.
Hmm.
We humanize things, and that's natural too. And that's also very dangerous because there's cases of young people who have taken their lives
Absolutely.
thinking that they were getting advice from this. Now, is it a wonderful tool? It can be. Can you base a whole economy on it? No,
No.
no. They're much slicker. I have to say, it's a much slicker filter than what we had before with the Google search. So, for example, we would Google 3, 5, 6 years ago. We get a whole listing of different articles. All this thing does, it takes it, summarizes it, and spits it out to us,
Right.
which is pretty cool, but it's not Terminator,
Right. Exactly.
you know. And that's where my big beef with it being, oh, I got to be fearful of it. No, you don't. It's like a hammer. Just don't lose your mind over it. Okay.
Exactly.
So that's where
Yeah.
I come from with that. Um, but that's me.
Right.
But that's me.
Exactly.
That's me. That's how I approach it. I just like better the more friendly way that we used to look at computers, like hopeful. We've
Yeah.
lost
I
that.
just finished watching Tron Ares. I don't know if you've seen that.
I love
And,
Tron. I heard the
and
soundtrack was better than the actual movie.
it was
I heard
actually.
9 Inch Nails just killed it.
Oh, it's a great soundtrack. It's an entertaining movie. I would say it's a different tone than the first. Oh, not the first movie. I would say the second film.
Right?
The second film, it looked like it was going off on, and there was a sequel to that second film that was canceled because Disney decided to drop Tron because I think it was when Avengers Age of Ultron made so much money. They're like, oh, we don't need Tron. It's like, but now it's like, and people, it did well. I think it made like over $300 million, which was average for a movie. Movies don't make 150, love stories, dramas, history films. They don't make more than $150 million.
No.
I mean, let's face it, they pad these budgets. So it's like movies don't really
Return
make
of the Jedi still has not made a profit, by the way.
right, which doesn't make any sense. Totally
It's
doesn't.
Hollywood accounting.
Yeah, Hollywood accounting, right? So they canceled it because the Marvel movies are making so much money. They're like, oh, they literally canceled the Tron cartoon, which was successful, and
I enjoyed it.
the movie that was supposed to, take the original third movie. So it's almost like they're going in a different direction with this film with Jared Leto. And I like Jared Leto as an actor. I think he's a good actor. If you've seen him, he's a character actor, kind of like Johnny Depp. He's not like a Brad Pitt or George Clooney, where they're the same person in every film.
Yeah, he just has a weird cult around him.
Yeah, yes, he does, yes. A lot of these celebrities do. Even like the guy who's streaming on what's his name? He's like the uglier, skinnier version of Jared Leto. What's his name? The British guy. What's his name? He's like
Russell Brand.
Russell Brand.
Oh,
He also has a cult following.
and
But I think with Jared Leto, it's more organic. Think about it. He started off as a rock star, right? Like the Beatles, right? They have fans. You have a fan base. So you have a fan base based on your music. And then
Yeah.
this guy takes it to another level. I mean, if you think about the Beatles, remember they went to India and they got all this, like they had a guru and they went through that little cult phase and they had the LSD and all that stuff. And I don't think
MK Ultra.
Yeah, MK Ultra. Yes, it's like it's the same thing. I don't think anything's changed. It's just the way we see it. Like, hey, that's a cult.
Yeah, that's
Okay, that's a cult.
yeah, that's a cult.
But I mean, there's a lot of cults. You got the cult of Mormon. You got the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses. You got the cult of, humans are a cult of personality, right? It's like
Yeah,
any ideal when taken to an extreme and then merged with politics is a cult. I mean, look at the MAGA movement. Look at the Zionist movement. These are all cults, you know?
If you can't bring yourself to, or your people can't bring themselves to question
Yeah.
what you believe every so often,
Hmm.
because it's a necessary exercise, I think. Is
Yeah.
this true? And then
Hmm.
if you can't bring yourself to do that, yeah, it's a cult.
Yeah. If it's forbidden, if people are texting you, gaslighting you not to say this and not to say that and giving you warnings, like, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in.
Yeah.
Which did happen to me. I mean, some people in the creative world of comics, you know, were texting me and saying, "Hey, I don't like your post. Hey, this is offensive. Hey, this is anti-Semitic. Hey, this, hey, that." And like,
Yeah.
hey, I can't be your friend anymore because of what you're posting. It's like, well, go fuck yourself. you
It's like,
know, it's like, it's like,
I'll be honest with you. Uh, if someone supports any nation that eradicates 500,000 people or over 500,000 people,
yeah, there's something wrong with that.
which, yeah, there's something wrong with them. Like,
You
that
know,
should take priority over
yeah,
whatever
you know.
belief
and,
system.
and you know, and I love the films. I love comics. Our entertainment was created by Jewish people. You know, it's a beautiful religion. But Zionism is not Judaism, and the moment that we start connecting the two and saying they are, that's the extremism. The
Yeah.
which are most of Zionists are atheists. They don't even believe in
Right.
God.
Well,
It's almost like going to church on a holiday rather than, it's like. Rather than being a devout, they're
yeah.
devout to a political movement, you know.
There's something that's kind of forgotten, lost in this too, though, because
Hmm.
there's a lot of emphasis about the Jewish creators, and they deserve that credit. But
Hmm.
what's forgotten is also the other people who weren't Jewish.
Right.
Like, take the person who created Crazy Cat.
Hmm.
He was a black man from Louisiana.
Hmm.
He went on to inspire The Simpsons, Itchy Scratch, all this stuff.
Right.
Charles Schultz,
Right.
and they only found out because he could pass. They only found out he was black after. His name was George Harriman,
Right.
and he had one of the most successful comic strips
Mm.
in the United States.
Hmm.
And so it's been a collaborative thing,
Right. Right.
right? And it's very important to understand that. But yet, why did he have to hide that he was black?
Right.
Because as anti-Semitic as our culture is,
Right.
and the culture in Europe can be,
Hmm.
anti-blackness trumps so much
Oh
more.
yeah, big time.
And that's painful for some of our Jewish brothers and sisters to hear. Um, but there's some Jewish brothers and sisters who are black too.
Right.
You know, the director
Ethiopians.
of Sorry to Bother You, which is a crazy film. I love that
Right.
film, except the ending's a little weird.
Right.
Boots Riley, he's black and Jewish,
Right.
so it isn't necessarily it's a religion, and we have to kind of understand that too as well. But in America, for 500 years, we had Sambo and Jim Crow and all this derogatory black imagery, which some of our Jewish brothers and sisters indulged in. As much as I love Will Eisner,
Hmm.
Ebony, you
It's
know,
problematic.
very problematic.
Yeah. And
Um,
he refused to apologize for it, and I think that's the reason why he's not as recognized as Batman or Superman creators, because
yeah,
in the 70s he brought back Ebony and he didn't change anything. He left him the same way.
yeah,
He's like, well, I made him smarter and I made him do this and they gave him more. And then the current stereotypes that were going on, he incorporated those stereotypes into that story. The
yeah.
boombox, like that.
And it's
The
like, and
jive
it's
talking, it's like, was that a part of reality? Sure, but why is that the go-to?
yeah. I mean,
I find that our entertainment is controlled by, these folks, and they for a group of people that are so sensitive about being ridiculed, they have no problem
Ridiculing others.
ridiculing others, and
Yeah. Yeah.
exploring those stereotypes, because they're the ones in control of that narrative. They control the narrative
Oh
of
yeah. Well.
how we think and how we see entertainment, how we see others,
Mhm.
and othering others, and making
Yeah.
them, objectifying them. No problem with that.
They
So,
forget they're European.
right.
Like, I'll give you an example. When I went back to Spain,
Hmm.
love Spain to pieces. I really do. It's my birth country. It's a place where my mom comes from.
Hmm.
Um, and I'd have conversations with them. And there was one time they were so hopping mad. It was a group of my friends were like hopping mad over the Mission Impossible, which took
Hmm.
place in Spain. And they're like, yeah, he just mishmashed all this shit. We're always the ones who are the enslavers. They never mention the English or the French or
Right.
the Portuguese. We're always the ones.
Right.
And then I just laughed at them. And I said, what you're saying is true. But how many of you guys have stereotyped Black people, Chinese people,
Right.
and so on? So
All
you
over the
still
media.
perpetuate that bullshit,
Yeah.
you know?
And
And
and are unapologetic about it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I had my way of making them see, though.
Oh, yeah.
So
I mean,
oh shit, yeah, I didn't realize it was like that. Yeah, like I had a friend, loving to pieces, very progressive Spanish guy, and in Spain, one of the horrible habits that they have, because a lot of the dollar stores are run by Chinese people.
mm,
And once, just to be the dick that I am, I said, so what happens? Because they just called it the Chinos, the Chinese. I said,
right.
so one day, what if Koreans start opening up shops? Are you still going to be calling it the Chinos?
Right.
A friend looks at me and says, well, it sounds horrible. And it is horrible. He says, well, they all look the same to me.
Hmm.
And I said to him, really? So how would you feel if someone's called you French?
Hmm.
And he got sort of like a little flushed, a little back straightened up a little bit. And he sort of shrunk back down again. He says, yeah, you're right. I see what you mean. Because I can tell you, the Spanish and the French do not like each other. It's a hate party. I mean, even within Spain, they all hate each other too, the different regions and stuff.
Right. Right.
So sometimes getting them to see, like, you're being the very dick
Right.
you're complaining about.
Right. Like calling all Italian Sicilian. That's
Right. Oh man. And regionally, like, yeah, Northern Italy hates Sicily.
Yeah.
It's not what
Calling
Euro.
Irish Scottish, or even though they're some cousins, right?
Oh, well, I think the Irish and the Scottish would be cool with that. I think if you told them they were English, then you'd have fighting words.
In America, I have some people that I associate with on a weekly basis that are Scottish. I asked them if they were Irish, and they got so offended. They're like,
Oh,
"Oh,
really?
fuck the
That's
Irish."
interesting.
I was like, "Really? In 2025?" It's like,
Well, traditionally, the Scots and the Irish,
yeah,
because they got shed on by the English,
right.
see
They had,
more kinship,
right. They had more in common, but it's
more in
just,
common. I don't
but
know
it
what the
shows
fuck
you
happened once they got to
The
America.
Americanization of racism has. I mean, we talk about becoming a divided nation recently, but I think we've always been divided, and there's been
From the
multiple
beginning.
from the beginning.
And that was intentional.
Yeah, yeah. It's
That was
like
intentional.
the Dutch, the Germans, the fucking
Oh, that was intentional.
Irish.
I'm sure you know about the Bacon's Rebellion,
Hmm.
but the fallout from the Bacon's Rebellion, and see, we tend to sort of think that racism was just something that was cooked up by poor people.
Hmm.
The reality is very different. It was not unusual for indentured servant Europeans, enslaved Africans to have kids together.
Right,
Up until 1666,
right,
Virginia brought in the anti-mixing laws, forcing the two not to have kids. And then
right,
after the big rebellion that kicked out the Virginia government there, the Bacon's Rebellion, by both indentured servant Europeans and enslaved Africans, that's when they ratcheted up and created the whole concept of white.
right,
Because you were just whatever country you came from.
right. It was more nationality.
More national, yeah. And I mean, I can still tell you, fuck, Spain's so regional. Jesus.
Mhm.
the Catalans don't like the Castilians, which is what we call Spanish. I don't blame them. They tend to impose themselves on everyone else. The Andalus, it's just no one likes anybody.
Right.
So this
That's like
pan-Europeanism.
it's like my students from Africans, the Kenyans, don't like the Nigerians. It's like
Oh yeah. Actually, I've been told by a lot of West Africans.
right.
I've even been told by Nigerians.
Right. And
Yeah, they tend
the
to be the.
Caribbeans don't like the American blacks. It's like
Oh yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
likes anybody. That's
Yeah. And who gets and the only way you can rule large populations of people, because we don't like to think of things. I think most people don't like to take the perspective of the villain.
right.
In the perspective of the villain, the people running shit
Mhm.
think shit. If they're educated, critical thinkers, they get along and they're happy,
Right.
that means I can't be in charge.
Right.
So I got to cause some shit.
Right.
So they play Loki, the devil, whichever type of asshole you want to pick, to
Right.
keep us all divided and fighting each other.
Exactly.
But in the end, we have more in common with each
Colonialism.
other. What's that?
It's colonialism. That's what it is.
Colonialism, divide and conquer, divide
Yeah.
and rule. Yeah.
Yeah. You have the Haitians, the Dominicans, even the Native Indians and the Mexicans were fighting each other, right? And then you have like a lot of different tribes,
Because there were different nations, really. I
yeah,
mean,
the different nations. Yeah. So
different nations. So,
right.
but it comes down to it's when rich people want something,
Right.
watch out. And we as a population, I'm not hating on the rich because they're rich. I just hate the fact that they have so much power that a few people can distort so much.
Right.
But we as a population who might not be super rich, collectively, we should at least say, okay, what the fuck do you want? What do you want now? And what are you trying to trick me into?
Right. What is the angle?
What's the angle? And that should be our relationship with them. All right, why the fuck you come bring this up now?
Right.
But we very naively think these people have our best interest.
Right. I mean,
That's
just
the problem.
the Native Indians welcomed all these explorers and and they taught them how to, grow shit,
Yep.
how to farm. They took their gold, they enslaved them, they gave them smallpox, the gonorrhea. It's like,
And they
then
use
killed
religion.
them. Yeah, they stole their land, and what we're witnessing right now is Europeans in Gaza claiming to be claiming to be the ancestral rightful owner of this land, and they're doing exactly what Europeans have always done, which is steal land.
Absolutely.
You know,
And you throw on it that Europe has had this, and I wouldn't say Europe because Spain, Portugal were fucking out of the picture in that. And you have France, Germany, I guess to an extent, Italy too, and England. The shame and guilt that they had from the Holocaust. They're pulling like the scapegoat. They're going over to the Middle East and going, okay, we're going to put all of our sins on this goat over here called the Middle East. And now you carry our sins and it's your fault that you're the anti-Semites and you did this. It's like, no, it was fucking you guys that did this.
right.
But what they did during World War II, they were doing in other places for 400 or 500 years.
Right.
They were just shocked they did it to people who look like them.
Right.
Look at King Leopold. He killed 15 million people in Congo.
Yeah.
Just for fucking chocolate.
Right.
It's like, what?
And rubber. And rubber.
And rubber. And
Right.
rubber. And, so there's got to be a little perspective. That's not to diminish what happened in the Holocaust.
No, but I mean, it's just what do we select? Why don't we learn about Leopold? Do we learn about Hitler? It's just like
Right. Other thing, why don't we learn about the black people who were also in the concentration camps with them?
right, exactly.
Or the Roma,
right. Very true.
because the Berlin Holocaust Museum has the names of 1,434 people of African descent in the concentration that were executed in the Nazi concentration camps. Mein Kampf isn't just anti-Semitic; it's anti-black,
Right.
and that's something that's often skipped over. So idiots like Kanye West
Right.
can be parading around with the Nazi stuff because
I, I don't know.
German
That guy
colonialism.
is like MK Ultra'd out or something.
Oh, that
It's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with it.
his mom.
I could not believe that he did that video called Heil Hitler. And I was like, what the hell?
Unless he goes down and gets the guy from Namibia who's called Adolf Hitler. Did you hear about this?
No, no.
So Namibia, because it was a German colony, by the
Mhm.
way, they literally wiped out half of the Herero Nama people before the Nazis, like way before. Anyway, there's a guy whose parents named him Adolf Hitler.
Are you kidding?
Black dude.
Really?
Just won the local elections in Namibia.
Wow.
So unless he's saying that's the guy you're talking about, he's an idiot on the
Right.
highest regard. Because, I mean, the Nazis had human zoos. We don't talk about the human zoos that
And
Europeans had.
yeah, exactly. And they had like birthing factories, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Americans had human zoos too as well. There's a
Yeah.
big case in the
Bronx.
Bronx.
Yeah.
And I'll give the religious people one on this one because I know I rail on them a lot. Sorry about that if it gets your goat, but they actually came out and fought against the scientific community, saying this is just completely horrible that you have a human being in a zoo.
Right.
You know, like,
And it supposedly committed suicide. It's like, no, they just murdered him. Instead of releasing him, they just allow him to.
yeah. So
You know?
the Hottentot Venus here
Mhm.
in France, this
Mhm.
woman who came from the it was the Khoikhoi tribe. They have exceptionally large behinds, right? And she
Mhm.
was treated as a freak here.
Mhm.
You know, when she died, instead of burying her, they hacked her up and had her organs and skeleton on display at the National Natural History Museum here in France.
Jesus Christ.
And then it was Martin Luther King who brought it up. This is, as much as you guys talk about liberalism and everything else, and Nelson Mandela, when he got elected, he said he refused to come here
Mm-hmm.
until they returned those remains. And they had to figure some things out legally so other people would reclaim their shit, right? And they
Right.
sent her back. So, no, the history has been horrible for
Horrible.
those who are non-white,
Yeah.
you know.
Remember, there's like some people were also cannibalistic when they lynched people. They barbecued them. You know.
Oh, one of
Yeah.
my favorites is because sometimes I'll see, and I don't call them white Americans, Euro Americans,
Mm-hmm.
European Americans. They love just saying that Native Americans were cannibalistic.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite go-to, and it's a well-stated fact, that the longest running history of cannibalism on this planet is in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
going back to the Neanderthals all the way through the Middle Ages.
Right. Right.
So this idea of like, oh, they're cannibal. So to your point,
Mm-hmm.
you could say it's almost like a tradition.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
That crossed the Atlantic. Just, it's like.
yeah. Or sometimes they love saying how, oh, the Aztecs were cutting all the people's hearts out
Right.
for the sun god. We had to go civilize them. My response to that is very simple. Yeah, while you were burning people for being Jews,
Right.
witches, werewolves,
Right.
and all sorts of other bullshit for your
Right.
religion that's supposed to be about peace,
Right. Exactly.
you know?
I mean, yeah, King James killed his own mother, right? He executed
Yeah.
his own mother.
He actually had a whole a whole treatise on witch hunting.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And the book of demonology that he did before the Bible, you know.
Yeah.
Killed people who try to translate the Bible, you know. Like it's like after his Bible was official, like no one else can have another Bible.
And what's crazy is that
Yeah.
people say they've read the Bible. I've done translation. I used to do translation for MBM.
Mm-hmm.
and I did translation for a little bit for a heavy metal magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Relatively speaking, I guess Spanish and English, if you look at it linguistically, there are differences, but there's still some similarities you can get away with.
Mm-hmm.
But they're different enough that some things don't translate over perfectly because the way that the grammar's set and difference in words. But then you take something from like 3,000 years ago
Right.
from an entirely different family of languages,
Right.
and you're going to translate that. You can have a myriad of different translations from that.
Right.
You've read a version of the Bible,
Right.
you know.
It's
Um,
not. It's a definitive because even I mean, you could be in a country for what 20 years, and if it's your second language, you're not going to pick up all those other like colloquialisms, like things that or like sayings like
mhm.
that may be in those texts, and you might take them a different way.
Oh yeah, exactly. Um, so for me, French is my third language,
Yeah.
but I can say thankfully though, because Europe is tiny, first of all, so they're all relatively close
Right.
by each other. But say, for example, between Spanish and French, Spanish and English, we say absence makes the heart go fonder,
Right.
right? That's the whole Shakespeare thing. In
Mhm.
Spanish, it's pretty much to the effect of absence kills love.
Yeah.
So it's like same expression, different meaning,
Different
right?
meaning. Right. Right.
Um, and you get to enjoy that. But if I was to learn Chinese, I would not have the same command as
Right.
my other three at all. It would be like ordering stuff, maybe like chit chat, because it's like an entire new database,
Right. Exactly.
right?
It's a whole nother program.
So to these people who think, oh yes, and and then there's things that people don't talk about. I mean,
Hmm.
you read the book, even the translations. There's more than one God.
Yeah. More than one God. You had El. You had Baal. You had
Hmm.
Yahweh. Who was a minor.
Yahweh. Hmm.
He was a thunder god. Right. It's like
Yep.
it was basically like Thor.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
mean, all that stuff was being
you had
circulated.
Moloch. That was the calves. The golden calf was Moloch. There's a bunch.
There's a bunch of gods, and actually, the and a lot of people miss this. The Ten Commandments, it says, "Thou shalt not have any gods before me."
Right.
That doesn't mean you can't have them below him,
Right.
right?
Right.
So that's not saying there are no other gods but me,
Right.
right? So I think
Right.
that
And
um,
then there is a scripture where God is describing that He is among the pantheon of gods.
mhm.
And then when Adam and Eve eat of the tree, they know good and bad, just like us. It's not just like me.
Right, right, yeah, and it's very interesting. The language starts out very plural.
Right.
He talks to himself, it's us at the
Right.
beginning, and then later it becomes I,
Right.
which is very fascinating.
Yeah.
Um, but good luck having that conversation with, as you were mentioning, the cultists.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, Lucifer was the light bringer, and then in Revelation, Jesus was the light bringer.
Well, yeah, Lucifer literally means bearer of light,
Yeah.
bearer of
And
light.
and
In
then
the Old
Jesus declares
Testament,
himself that, and it's like that.
in the Old Testament, there was no devil. It
Right.
was literally just he was this like an angel that was supposed to test people.
Right. He's like a Loki.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Okay, I set up the obstacle course. Let's see if these jerks can actually do anything.
Right.
Oops.
Right.
You know, um, so there's many different interpretations from that.
Right. I
Um,
mean, and it's no different than the Greek gods of,
no,
different gods that would test humans or trick humans or.
in a way, I would
Like,
see I like the Greek ones better
yeah.
because they went on full on
Personality. They're more colorful.
total dicks, and openly so, right?
Right.
Uh, I mean, Zeus is like the worst sexist, misogynist god you're ever gonna have.
Yeah, he's like a pedo, rapes his own kids,
Oh,
and it's like,
guy's awful,
you know,
but I guess more honest. And actually, there's a lot of scholars who say because for a long time, what we consider the Old Testament was oral.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of historians who are saying when you look at the Old Testament, you can see the influence from the Greek.
absolutely.
There's actually one thing once I was reading, I was laughing my butt off. I was reading Aesop's Fables, and there's a fable about the cedars of Lebanon, because that's where they used to get their wood back then, because they had massive forests. Choose their leader, and in the footnotes, they're talking about how in the Old Testament they make reference to that fable, and I
Mm,
was just shaking my head. I'm like, oh yeah, the cedars of Lebanon.
right, right.
I'm like, man. So yeah, there's
Well,
there's
I
there's,
mean,
there's plenty.
you had Homer was writing, the Odyssey and at the same time as the Bible was written, right? So it's like,
Yeah,
you know,
and then the Bible was oral and then became
right.
uh, a written.
And Homer also, those are all oral stories for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and
Mhm.
he was just putting them into writing.
Yeah,
As far as we know, as we were
yeah.
told, maybe he's
Yeah.
just reading another manuscript, right? Well, actually, he was supposedly blind, so it's like,
Well, maybe they had their version of Braille,
right,
or someone who read to them, right? What we don't know or aren't told either is that as sexist as the Greeks are, if you read the Iliad, there's Amazon on the battlefield,
hmm
which is one of those things that you never see in the Hollywood versions.
never.
Socrates was taught by a woman.
hmm
This is also not told because he's the father of Western civilization.
Yeah,
Then most of these guys, all of these guys, like Aristotle, spent 20 years of his life in Egypt
right, exactly.
studying. So there's so much of distortion, so many lies as to what you were talking about with the book with the Native American history,
Yes,
that it just doesn't, the lies just don't start about Native Americans. They have gone right back to antiquity
right.
and lied about a lot of crap.
They understood that the world was round while the Europeans thought it was flat. And it's like,
Right, right, right. Oh, and then there's the added wrinkle that when the printing press came along, one thing that has to be said about the British, they were always very good at propaganda.
mhm,
Uh, they started to print out a lot of leaflets that were anti-Catholic, saying that the Catholics didn't believe that the Earth was round,
mhm,
which wasn't true.
right,
It was a way of diminishing Catholics, which would mean Spain, because that was our rival.
right.
And since then, the British press has come out to give us so many wonderful lies. you know, um, but hey,
And the moral of the story is white people don't like each other.
they don't.
We like everyone else much less.
They well, I kind of like to picture it like this, or describe it like this. If there's a heist, they will get together to do the heist. That doesn't
Right,
mean they like each other, but they
right,
will tolerate each other just enough to
right,
steal the stuff.
right. Then
Then
they'll fight
after the
over the
heist, we
spoils.
get the World War Ones and twos, because that's just like the Reservoir Dogs.
Right, exactly.
Now we got to kill each other to steal the shit that we stole from someone else, right?
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's a shame.
it is. It's such a waste of energy.
It is. Think about if just people just shared and I mean, I think there's going to come to a head where people are going to be like, why are we paying rent? Why are we paying mortgages? Uh,
Mhm.
why do we have to pay to live on a planet that nobody owns?
Right, right.
If this is God's planet, if we're all from God, then why are we paying you? Why do you have all the wealth? We're gonna take the wealth from you.
And the wealth comes down to our work,
hmm
because the thing that we associate with wealth is digital or paper money. That's
hmm
not really wealth. That's just a tool to wealth. The
hmm
wealth is the controlling of what we make. And we know in our industry, where we do comic books, we see it all the time. Happened to Jack Kirby. They took his wealth. That
Right.
was his work, and they exploited that. And,
Exactly.
it comes down to that. I agree with you. I think we're going to see that. I think the reason they fill us with so many lies, and it's becoming harder, is because they don't want us to acknowledge that.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
um, I think that's the big issue. But I agree. I don't know how long it'll take.
Yeah. And I think that the homeless movement is part of that. Like people are probably realizing, like, hey, I'm renting this caravan or I'm living in this tent. And they're like, you're going to see
Yeah.
more of that.
Well, I'm going to give you an example. You were talking about New York and the construction, all the stuff that was going on. When I had moved back to Spain, they had just suffered the fallout from the 2008 housing crisis. Theirs was particularly brutal because I think there's something like they had so much construction.
Right.
So these construction companies had taken a lot of money from the EU, a lot of funding. For whatever reason, the EU didn't sort of go, okay, well, where's this money going to? And sort of have like we're going to follow up every so often to find out what you're doing with it.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, you had an influx of Germans who don't have sunlight in their part of the world, or French going down to Spain because it has a lot of sun, right? Enjoy the
Right.
beaches. And when it crashed, there's something like 4 homes for every Spaniard.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
they were also having their problems where people were getting kicked out of their homes.
Right.
Now, here's the thing in Spain, one of the big issues is if you can't, say you lose your home and you had a mortgage,
Right.
that mortgage isn't cleared out.
Right.
You're still paying that mortgage to the bank, even if
Right.
you're kicked out.
Right.
Next person gets in, now they have a mortgage with the bank.
Right. So they're getting it twice.
They're getting it twice,
Mm-hmm.
which is completely unfair. So
Yeah.
there's been a movement to try to push back against that. And it was called 15M, which was interesting because they became the party known as Podemos. Now, they're not probably the most well-liked in Spain because Spain has been for 40 years fascist,
Right.
right? But they started out on the street, very similar to Occupy.
Mhm.
Occupy actually went to Spain to get a lot of tips from them.
Really?
What they did.
Hmm.
But the whole idea was to keep people in their homes at
Hmm.
first and to create a town hall for people to discuss ideas in towns and stuff.
Right.
I think is lacking. But I do agree with you from seeing that I think we're going to get there at some point. I don't know how long it's going to take. That's the thing. But the sooner the better. You
Yeah.
know?
Exactly. Well, I think we're going to see it in our lifetime.
I think so too.
I think we're
I'm
going to see it in
hopeful.
our lifetime. You know, you got Trump destroyed a part of the White House, and the people will destroy the rest of it. You know.
That was.
You know. And I don't know if
Part
you've
of me
seen that
is
movie
not.
Civil War yet, but by A24, but it's a must watch.
I think we've been at Civil War.
Yeah.
But I think we've been at a Civil War we don't understand.
Right.
And it is not by region or ideology per se. I think it's been by income.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's been by income, and it's been a long-standing civil war that's probably been for 400 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because something, keep in mind, a lot of the poor white people in the United States, chances are their ancestors were poor too.
Yep.
Like,
very true.
all England did was offshore its poverty into its colonies.
Yep.
They labeled them criminals and everything.
Yep. They weren't the best and brightest.
Well, that's what they said. I mean, we don't really. I mean,
they're disposed.
Yeah, I take it from the perspective. These rich people who are telling us this.
Right.
There might have been some philosophers amongst those people because a lot of them were orphans.
Right.
They just didn't have jobs. They got kicked out, ended up in the. They used to call them the waste people.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we get the term white trash from. Was from England, which was really screwed up.
Mm.
And the rich people who could afford to come to the Americas to become even richer, particularly places like Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
they got their tickets. They got 40 acres of land, man.
Exactly.
And then for every servant, they got 35 acres of land.
All right.
So we're still in the feudal system.
Yep.
You know, we got nice little gadgets and toys and stuff, but I mean, we haven't changed that much.
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
So,
I agree.
So, yeah. That's why I don't dog on completely. My only thing is, it's like, why haven't you rebelled? Why do
Right.
you
What's
put up
going
with it?
on? We're paying more taxes than when the Boston Tea Party was going on,
Oh
right?
man, and income tax was actually brought in to make the rich pay, not us.
Right.
And then the rich, being the way they are,
But
offshore often on us,
yeah,
right? And that's my issue with them. If you want to be rich, whatever. I don't
right.
care.
Right.
I don't care about your tacky wives, your tacky cars, your tacky homes, or any
Right.
of that stuff. I don't envy that. My
Right.
thing is, stop feeding me Campbell's soup with
Right.
bioengineered 3D printed
Right.
crap.
Right. Stop trying to poison us. Right.
Exactly.
It's like stop trying to poison us with shit and stop making us wear shit. It's just
Exactly.
it's weird. Like I was looking for like leather shoes, and it's getting harder and harder. A lot of shoes are made out of PVC now.
Wow.
And they look like leather. You gotta like really look. Even some jackets look like leather jackets, and they're PVC. Like what the fuck?
Wow.
And it's so
Yeah, and,
good that you can't even tell.
and it doesn't stretch.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, you get leather shoes, and it would sort of stretch to
Yes.
your feet after a while, and
Yeah.
PVC doesn't stretch.
No.
Yeah,
And it's toxic. It's just going into your bloodstream.
and exactly, and what's sad is to get real leather, you have to pay a lot of money for real leather shoes.
Yeah. It's it's crazy. A ham sandwich used to be a dime or a nickel, and that ham sandwich today is $7. They haven't changed anything. It's like,
Yeah,
well, if anything, they changed the ham is not really ham anymore. It's like
that's right.
fillers and some other stuff. So you're getting a lesser quality and you're paying the premium price for the lesser quality.
And you know what? That's how our system was built. Our
Yeah.
system was built to make cheap, with cheap labor, cheap materials, sell high.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
know, we want to change things, change the way that we look at it, sell quality, make some money, maybe not as much money,
Right. Right.
and we're all healthier for it, and we're still around to continue
Right.
buying good quality stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. That was great. I think this was a Good Friday edition.
I agree. I agree with you. Yeah.
For the 11th episode. Woohoo.
Thanksgiving special.
Thanksgiving special. What are you thankful for, Miguel? Even though you're in France, they don't have Thanksgiving there.
Oh yeah, they don't do that here. Well, I guess still American, right? I'm just thankful for friends, family, still breathing.
Mhm.
Wake up in the morning, right? That kind of old guy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you?
We still have freedom of speech. So far. It's changing. It's being challenged, but we still have that.
That's everywhere.
Yeah. And everything that you said.
Right. Well, the West is going through this, wanting to get into a war footing.
Mm-hmm.
So by doing so, a lot of our freedom of speech is going to get clamped down on.
Mm.
Sadly, you're seeing it everywhere. Britain's particularly bad.
Mm.
Britain's particularly bad. People getting arrested for Facebook posts and stuff.
Yeah, it's just nuts. I mean, that's been going on for a minute. My buddy Trevor had the feds go up to his house back in the first Trump administration. I think it was like 2016, 2017.
Mhm.
And they wanted to, he tried to get into his house, and he was like, "You're not welcome here." And they literally showed him his Facebook post and were questioning him about it. And he was just like, don't we still have freedom of speech? I can say whatever I want,
Right.
And then I think they were going to take I don't think they realized his age. And then when they saw in his window like black lightning and all this other stuff, he's like, "Don't you know?" He's like, "Why don't you Google me, find out who I am?" And then like that was at the height of black lightning, where the TV show CW and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. That's right.
So they left him alone. But I mean, they went to the Bronx. They were like ready to fucking throw cuffs on him. It's like, what the
You need
fuck?
Haitian friends.
You know? It's like,
You saw what they did to ICE, right?
oh, yes, yes. I think everyone needs
That's
to do that. Everyone needs to do that.
yeah. I think
And this whole shooting in DC seems like another false flag. You know, they're like sacrificial lambs. These poor soldiers are set up
yeah,
and shot. And that guy worked for the government, the guy who shot them. He was a
yeah.
federal worker, you know? So it's like, it makes you go back to think MK Ultra, you know? It's like these, you know, it's fucking weird.
Well, you know, they go to war. They go to war to fight for our freedoms, whatever freedoms.
Yeah. The freedoms that they're
Ad
taking away.
nauseam. Yeah, freedom for Coca-Cola and the rest of them to do what they want.
Right. It's fucking ridiculous.
And I mean, just that experience messes them up.
Yeah.
And then they come home, maybe throw in a little bit of the MK Ultra into that. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
really unfortunate, very sad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know your dad was in the military. You know,
Yeah. They
so
screwed him. He did 28 years in the service,
wow,
got cancer from the Gulf
wow,
Gulf War. Then when he tried to apply for, you know, PTSDs, they said it was non-existent, you know. They later gave money recently, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. I told my mom to apply for it. They're giving money to families from soldiers that were suffering from PTSDs, and people got cancer. I don't think she applied for it. You know, my mom, she wants everyone to do things for her. But there was a window period where we could have got some restitution for that, and I think she just let it go by, you know, even though she needed money, but she just didn't want to do the work.
Did your dad have Gulf War syndrome?
Yeah, I mean, he suffered from it. Well, you know, I think his friends suffered from it more. You know, he was a very happy person, like laughed, you know, it's like tears of a clown, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, he hid it well. He didn't really talk about his feelings, but one of his friends that came back from him, that was in 1991, I think. I graduated 91, so I think it was like, yeah, later 91 or early 92. I forget when he came back. Might have been 91. And owned a video store near my high school.
Mm-hmm.
Was married to a doctor. Didn't have financial issues, you know, not major ones, if any, you know. Owned a video store, came back from the Gulf, you know, started the business again. He had other people running it while he was away, and then just hung himself. Another guy drowned in his pool. 2 guys died in auto accidents. Like their cars broke down, and then when they got out the car to work on the car, like people used to do that, you know, pulled over on the side of the road. These 2 people were, you know, 2 separate incidents. They're both killed. You know, one guy died in his hood, just hit by another car. Freak accidents, suicides, you know, accidental deaths. A lot of the people that my dad went to the military with ended up that way, which was weird. And then when George Bush was sending people back for the second war, like in Iraq,
Yeah.
he had cancer, but he tried to go. And then he was forced to retire because
He had cancer.
he had cancer. He wanted to go, though. I mean, he was one of these gun-ho types that he wanted to go there with the cancer. If he was trying to figure out how he can get his treatment and be there at the same time. But luckily he didn't, because his unit, the 35 apps, were shelled, you know. So those who didn't die in Kuwait died in Iraq.
Wow.
They were eating breakfast and they had a air-to-land missile strike. They obliterated. So,
Was it friendly fire or was it?
No, it was well, according to the official story, it was all over. It was on CNN. Apparently, it was like an Iraqi. Who knows?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
An Iraqi.
Yeah.
With a handmade, you know, air to, you know, just like a little handmade missile thing or whatever, you know, like shot it
Like
in.
a rocket launcher?
Like a rocket launcher, basically. Rocket launch.
Man.
Who knows? But I was like, hey, good thing you didn't go. You'd be dead.
Wow. Wow.
And then he passed away in 2007, and then they screwed my mom out of her benefits, like because you have variable rates. So the military insurance, USAA, you see those commercials, when if
Mhm.
you're, they basically changed his rate so he couldn't afford it. So they didn't have to pay my mom Jack when he died. The job, you know, didn't pay her anything after he died, his retirement, because that's what they do, right? They screw you out of. And then she had to basically fight to get something, and she eventually got something, but wasn't much.
Wasn't much.
Wasn't what he was entitled to.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, don't join the military, don't die for the white men. It's like don't die for the corporations. Why?
Yeah.
All these things, these benefits that they claim you're going to get when he needed them, they weren't available.
Yeah. And it is about going to die for the corporations. And it's been very well stated by former military men like Smedley Butler. War is a racket. He said it. Capone has nothing on me. I was the big heavy for the Wall Street bankers in 3 continents or 4 continents, whatever he said. And that was in the 1930s. He was saying this shit.
Right.
So it's been well known for a long time.
Long time.
But
yeah. It's a good way to end the episode, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think so. So we're gonna go to our I guess the theme song.
There we go. Let's do it.
The apocalypse is coming. Are you scared? Are you prepared? The masses are running frantically, running from their fears, running with their tears, running